mean, you feel better when you make shots. I mean, everything seems a little rosier, right? Yeah, we had a lot of misses. Some of them were good looks, some of them weren't. Again, I think that we have to move the ball better, and continue to probe for better shots. It's a game too. We're not as good as these guys right now. I think that was pretty evident and clear for everyone to see, and so we'll see if we can improve.
And now the Celtics losing streak begins. They lose 113 to 103. This is the Garden Report, powered by Grandstand on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. Welcome to the show. I'm Jared Weiss. We're joined as always by Jimmy Toscano from CSNNE and Kevin O'Connor from Celtics Blog, SB Nation, About.com, Vantage Sports. I can keep going, but I'll forget one.
Also helping out at CSNNE too.
That's and helping out CSN. So, let's talk about this game. The Celtics did not. I mean, they didn't really look good in the first one against Philly, but tonight it looked really bad, especially in the second half. We'll get to that. They fall 113 to 103. Terrence Ross with 21 points in only 21 minutes. A big game from DeMar DeRozan. He had 23 points. Went to the line 14 times tonight. Isaiah Thomas on the Celtics end had 25 points in only 29 minutes. So it's pretty much the only silver lining that's happened so far this season. He's been good. But Jimmy, they were looking. I mean, they were kind of going neck and neck going up to halftime. Marcus Smart hits this miracle fadeaway three falling into the stands.
Which, didn't you say, was his only shot of the game that he hit? No, he had two shots. Oh, only
one of the half, yeah.
Only three-pointer of the game, and it was like from the third row.
And three-point shooting was pretty clearly the issue for them tonight.
Oh, yeah. It was ugly. The three-point shooting, they couldn't hit anything. They couldn't hit the right side of Barnes tonight. And they had some open looks, too. Looks in transition. I mean, they had some spot-up shots that they weren't knocking down. I think it's just one of those nights. The law of averages, Brad Stevens will tell you, they can't shoot this poorly every night. Do I think they played better than the Raptors tonight? No. I mean, I think you got to give the Raptors credit. They were the better team tonight, and at this point in the year, I think they're the better team overall. They're for the most part, a lot of those guys are back. Lowry's back, DeRozan's back. We've already talked about some of these guys. Ross is back, but they lost Amir Johnson. They got Carroll, who I think is a nice piece for them. They may be paying him a little too much, but I think he's a good piece for them. They're the more talented team right now. They're the better team, and they played better tonight, and they deserve to win. I think that, and in the final score, they won by 10. They should have won by a lot more. Yeah, they won by a lot more than that.
The thing is, in the first half, especially the first quarter, Celtics outscored them on the fast break 9-0. But the Raptors had a lot more rebounds. The two teams really played their games, I guess, where the Celtics a ton of fast break attempts, high transition, high energy in the first half, but they weren't shooting well. Raptors hit a lot of threes, got a lot of rebounds. They were the power team. But Kevin, in the third quarter, things went really poorly.
Yeah, first 5 minutes, 50 seconds of the third quarter. Celtics outscored 17-9, and that's basically the differential in the game. Celtics were stagnant on offense, and on defense, Raptors were just getting interior buckets. 5 of their layup attempts out of the 10 shots in that period. And after David Lee was taken out of the game, they didn't play DNP. And I think partially the reason for the struggles on offense is because we saw in preseason the ball was going through Lee. But we're seeing with that lineup, negative net rating in the first game and again tonight. So I wonder if they're having chemistry issues working Lee in now compared to preseason. And defensively, we already know Lee's not a great player on that end. So he needs to offer offense, and right now he's not. And that's probably why we saw the DNP.
The defensive rating tonight for the Celtics, 104.4 according to my mathematics. Shout out to Sacktown Royalty.
He's a smart guy.
I can do addition in my head. And the offensive rating was only 95.1. But the effective field goal percentage, really measuring the three-point effectiveness, Raptors 50.6, which is pretty good. Celtics 41.2. The Celtics, they're even when you factor in for three-point shooting, they barely even got mediocre.
Well, they were awful three-point shooting tonight, and so that'll do it to 27% from the three-point line tonight. I thought one thing that the Raptors did well in the second half was they were pushing the ball. They were getting out in transition. The Celtics were missing a lot, obviously. They were pushing the ball. They weren't just walking the ball up and getting into sets. They were finding the open man. They were scoring in transition. The Celtics were always on their heels. You know what I mean? The Celtics, they couldn't set up, and they couldn't get anything going in transition on their own end. So when and I think that kind of flipped it. And the whole Lee point is, Lee did look, we talked about this off the camera, but Lee looked really good in those first couple games in the preseason. I'm not sure how well he fits with guys on the bench. So when you start to bring in those bench guys, which Brad Stevens is going to do pretty quickly, it feels like. Isaiah Thomas obviously is going to get a lot of burn. I'm not sure how well he fits with a guy like Isaiah Thomas, who is already you know,
He's
he
gonna
hurts you
dominate the ball.
defensively, and he hurts you defensively. So now you're going to leave Lee out there, who also hurts you defensively. So I think you might be finding where Lee can only work with certain guys, and if it's not working right away, you might not see him like we did tonight.
And that could be a problem going forward because, you know, they have Isaiah Thomas. He can create with the best of them. He's being used like a superstar. They feed him the ball every possession. So when he's not on the floor for the extra 20 minutes, because he plays about 28 minutes a game, you need a guy who can do it for that period. It's been Evan Turner, but they have Evan Turner coming off the bench playing alongside Isaiah Thomas. So if it's not Lee, they really need a guy to step up in the starting lineup, whether it's Smart, who hasn't really been handling the ball as much as I expected so far. And the problem is if Lee's not playing well on offense, he's not giving you anything on defense. And that means you're having an inefficient player on two ends of the floor, and you don't want that.
Right.
All right, let's go to the grandstand play of the game because it kind of takes both the element you talked about with Raptors trying to push it and what you talked about, Evan Turner not working out at all tonight. Grandstand is the app that allows you to get the view from the seats, fans in the stands, taking videos of the game and then giving it to you on the Grandstand app at home. Go to download Grandstand app in the App Store or go to grandstand.me to use it. Let's take a look at this video here. So we have a pretty nice give and go going between Evan Turner and Isaiah Thomas. Nice flip pass from Isaiah, and then Turner front rims it. Barely even got it up to the rim. Then Lowry goes in
worst miss.
transition. Feeds it on a cross screen to Luis Scola, who hits the layup, and that was the only fast break field goal that the Raptors even got credit for in tonight's game. But it really epitomized that the Celtics, their shots were turning into transition opportunities for the Raptors, Kevin.
Yeah, and I think what Jimmy said about this is one of those games where you just miss a lot of shots. I don't think the Celtics got a lot of bad shots at certain points of the game. I think Stevens said at some points they were bad, but other points they were getting good looks. And on Toronto's end, obviously, like you said, the Raptors outplayed the Celtics, but they had a lot of shots where they just hit contested mid-range jumpers or they were ran off the three-point line and they pulled up from mid-range. So the Celtics were forcing shots that they want teams to take, but the Raptors were just hitting them, and we saw Terrence Ross just get red hot with 13 points in the fourth quarter.
All right, let's go to part two. When we come back, we'll talk about Terrence Ross's fourth quarter and then Isaiah Thomas continuing to be a source of inspiration for a team that really needs it. Small sample size theater, of course. This is the Garvin Report powered by Grandstand on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog.
Probably shot selection. We had a lot of open shots, even around the rim. We just need to concentrate more and knock them down. Guys need to just continue to have confidence. I think this is our first game where our body language was not really good, and guys were missing shots in that third and fourth quarter and putting their head down, and we can't have that. We got to be even keeled at all times and just remain confident in ourselves.